Hello, this is Jeff Neville for Selective Imagery, and welcome to another day in paradise. What does this mean to you? Is it a place, somewhere you've been, a special place near where you live, something that you do that helps you relax? I challenge everybody in a world today that has so much anger in it to just, you know what? Don't watch the news for a week. Don't watch talk shows for a week. Don't tweet for a week. Find something that you like to do that helps you relax. Something that you enjoy, something you can enjoy with your friends and your family and your grandchildren, whatever. Take the dust off the bowling ball you haven't used in 20 years and go bowling. Go see a movie with the family. Take a walk on the beach with your wife. Hike in the mountains. Enjoy a wonderful view that you can just sit there and look at forever. Sit on a hill and look up at the clouds and wonder what kind of shapes that you can find while you're looking at them. Just find something that helps you connect with life, what life is all about. And life is too short. Life is too short to be angry all the time. You should be happy. You need to enjoy the time that you've been given. And don't take it for granted. So hopefully one of the things you like to do is go out and enjoy nature, enjoy the outdoors, enjoy your family, get out that camera and take some pictures. So I hope you enjoy this video. If you do, please give me a like. If you don't, tell me why you don't like it. Give me recommendations. Is it too long? Is it too short? Is it too much of the same subject matter? I'm all ears, people. Let me know what you think, hopefully in a polite manner. In the meantime, enjoy the video. So one has to ask, is this paradise? I could certainly get used to seeing this every morning. Boy, the glow of the sun against the sky, it's just gorgeous. Just look around you. Enjoy these Rosetta spoonbills as they decide to pay a visit at the park. Beautiful birds, fun to watch, entertaining. And it's a pleasure that they're nice enough to come and visit us from Florida and stay a while. Take a walk. You might run into a cormorant early in the morning. And boy, they can eat fish. If you want to see a bird that can eat a lot of fish and pack it down, this is it. I love this pose with the one leg lifted slightly and the beak opened up. A seagull on the sign. We've got a willet walking through the mud with the oysters in the foreground. And you know, here's a video of snowy egret sitting on a post. Now this is in the middle of the marsh, and there's this pipe that just sticks up out of nowhere for whatever reason, and it has a wire over the top of it. And somebody told me it's actually like if you had a hurricane and the water actually got that high, it would, the water would go down that pipe and pop out somewhere else. I don't know if that's true or not, but it ends up being a perch for a lot of birds that like to just hang out there and have some fun. So I'll let you watch this snowy preen for a few minutes here. And here we come upon an IBIS feeding in the marsh side near the causeway. And low tide, it's interesting with all the oysters and everything. And now we move over to, we're still in the marsh, but we're over near the nature center. And you have a very long walkway from the nature center that goes out quite a ways. And this isn't really that far out. I mean, this is, you know, probably maybe 100 feet from where you first get on the walkway on the left-hand side. And there was a group of IBIS that were, you know, preening and eating and hanging out together. And I focused on a couple individuals. So I'll let you just kind of watch their routine. Sorry for the jumpiness here. You get excited when you're filming these things, you know. But it's fun to observe. It's fun to, and necessary if you're a wildlife or bird photographer, to observe the behavior of your subject. The only way you can anticipate when something might happen that's worthy of your video camera or you taking a still image is you have to understand behavior. You have to understand their patterns, what they do, where they do it, where they go, where they are at certain times of the day. And you only the more you learn about your subject, the better photographs you're going to get. So look at this video clip as just a way of, you know, making those initial observations. They're very interesting birds. Now, the tide is coming in at this particular point in time. If all you saw was mud flats here at low tide, then more than likely this IBIS would be looking for fiddler crabs. Now, with the fact that there is, you know, maybe, I'm guessing at this time, maybe 6 or 8 inches of water where it's walking around, then that may change, you know, what it chooses to eat. It's going to be harder to find crabs. They're going to be higher up in the mud where the water level is non-existent or very, very low, and they're going to be hiding. So I'll pan over to another subject a little farther to the right here, and we'll watch what this one's doing. Now, in previous videos that I've shot of these birds, you've seen some where they're shredding blue crabs apart. If they get a blue crab, you know, they rip all the legs off, they rip the claws off, they, depending on the size, they swallow the rest of the body whole, or if it's a real big one, they have to like keep chewing on it and breaking it apart and then ripping off the sections and swallowing it. And they also like mudworms. They love worms, and they'll eat an eel once in a while too. So but what you're going to find in this video, you're going to see many instances where this fella here gets some mudworms and just pops them right down, you know, just flicks them up just like that. They find the throat. They know how to flick it. They know how to get it in the air and have it go right down their throat. It's really, really interesting. I mean, here you see multiple victories here in getting the prey. And now the birds, kind of like sharks, they have that nictitating membrane that covers the eye. Now, what that looks like, it varies from bird to bird. Like when this bird's head is in the water or touching the water, I mean, it looks like you have a white eyelid covering the eye. I mean, the eye itself typically is not dipped into the water. I mean, that membrane will cover and protect the eye, and it'll do that for when it's going in the water. It'll do that if the prey is something that it feels can get aggressive and could maybe hurt its eye, and that membrane will cover and protect the eye. And on some birds, excuse me, it's almost like clear, and others it has coloration to it. There it goes, it's got something. And I'm sure if it managed to get a crab while it's poking around and searching, it would have no problem chowing it down. This one's very, very busy, and is proving to be pretty successful at getting the food. And the water's pretty clear, you know. I mean, you can, right now, you can tell it's not very deep, and you can see the bottom of it from the video. It's interesting, at low tide, you'll see a lot of snails laying on top of the mud, and I'm not sure if they eat snails or not. I'll have to look that one up, but I mean, there could be thousands and thousands of snails just laying on the mud, or they'll be slightly up on the reeds. But you know, definitely food opportunities for some of these birds. I didn't see it, but we ran into someone who said there was a Cooper's hawk that was in the area, and we were walking on the decking out on the marsh, and we saw a bunch of bird feathers laying there. So our guess is that it attacked and consumed a bird because there were a lot of feathers laying around, but we didn't actually see it. Cooper's hawks are really cool. Another short clip, relatively speaking. And here we have an image of a wood stork landing in the grasses and the reeds on the marsh side, and it'll just disappear. I mean, you'll get a lot of birds. You don't even know they're there, other than you hear them. Here, this green heron is right on the edge in the marsh side. I love taking pictures of fiddler crabs, especially the males, when they have the purple coloration. And as I'm photographing them, they're looking at me, and they're raising the claw, and they're getting into a defensive posture. This laughing gull is just walking through the oyster beds. And here's a quick video of tricolor herons. One that's basically just stationary, watching the other one. I'd like to say it's feeding, but it's either getting something that's extremely small that I couldn't see, or it has a funny way of drinking water. I'm assuming it is getting some small insects or extremely small fish. Very busy. And here's a clip. This is very early in the morning, and this was at, I think, with the 1:400 with the 1.4 tele, so I'm like at 560 with that shot. So that was as far as I could go to get those fellas. And here's another clip of an ibis preening and hanging out. I mean, you could sit and just watch wildlife do its thing. Literally, I mean, if you're into it for hours and hours and never get tired of it. And even though you may be following a group of, 15 or 20 birds, there's always going to be a couple that stand out, that attract your attention. And wood storks are funny, which I don't have in this video other than that one still that you saw, but they haven't really been hanging out in large groups here. But sometimes, they're like soldiers. I look at them like soldiers. They get all in a row and they start marching and following each other, feeding and everything, and it's just really funny to watch them. So everything has unique behavior patterns, and that's one of the things, I don't care if you're shooting lions and tigers or bears or coyotes or wolves or moose or birds or whatever, frogs, snakes. You need to learn the behavior, and that only happens with time. You have to put the time in. You have to get out some books and read about your subject, and ask a lot of questions with fellow photographers, especially if you're a newbie. I mean, a lot of photographers are more than happy to share information with people. I mean, it's funny, once in a while you'll get some that are standoffish. The friend I shoot with now, we became friends because he would ask me questions like what settings was I using at a certain point in time for a certain subject that we were both shooting at, and I had no problem sharing that information, and he appreciated it, and we get along great. We enjoy each other's company, taking pictures, and it all just started with a conversation and a willingness to share information between each other, compare notes, and that's what everybody should want to do. And here's an ibis taking off, flying very low to the grasses in the marsh. And here's a juvenile. It's not fully white yet. It's funny you say juvenile when it's as big as the adult. This is a blue heron. Not a great blue, just a blue heron. And here it is on the railing, the post, walking across the marsh. Now this was funny. This is a few shots of a tricolor heron. For whatever reason, it was just grabbing a stick and flipping it up in its mouth and dropping it into the water, and then it would pick it up again and walk around and drop it into the water. It did that for like 10 or 15 minutes. Obviously, it's not nesting season. There's no reason other than it entertaining itself to be playing with that stick. And this is a juvenile yellow crowned night heron. And there's a long technical name for this spider, but it's commonly called the banana spider down here, and that's its young. And we finish off with some beautiful color in the sky, and hopefully this video has relaxed you a little bit and gets you wanting to go out and do whatever you like to do. To kind of like just enjoy life a little bit more, relax, because the only way we all make it through these trying times in our lives is we have to take care of ourselves first, and hopefully when we feel good about ourselves, we'll start feeling good around other people. So everybody take care. Until next time, enjoy life, capture some of it.